So I was asked to talk to you about getting a business started, and that leads me to my first idea not idea, but my first step of creating a new business, and that is a good idea. You have to search long and hard for something that nobody else has done before. You need to research what other people have done similarly, and you need to figure out how to make your own. High school students would probably really relate to a brand like Stance socks, right? Everybody wears socks, but so those people were able to make it better and make it their own, and now they're one of the biggest sock companies in the world, arguably, if not the biggest sock company in the world, right? The second idea that you need to have is a dream, right? You have to have dreams for yourself, you have to have ideas, you have to have things that you want in your life, right? I'm married now with 3 kids, and I had to sit down with my wife and talk about and think about what our dreams were for our family, where we wanted to be, where we wanted to live, the lifestyle that we wanted to live, the schools that I want my kids to go to.
Survive.
And I had to have dreams for myself and for my family, right? So I had to first have a good idea. I had to have a dream for where I wanted to go, and I wrote down guts here, but it's so funny. I was arguing with myself whether I was going to write guts or balls, because you guys all are dudes here, and you look like I could talk to you like that. You've got to have good ideas. You have to have dreams for yourself, and you got to have some balls, and you got to be able to get up and to know that these are the things I want, these are the dreams I want, and you got to have the balls or the guts to go do those things, right? Then the next thing that you need to learn is you need to learn time. You need to learn that the things that you want, the dreams that you want, this house that we're sitting in took a lot of time. This house that we're sitting in probably took a lot of work, a lot of hours, a lot of money, and a lot of time to be able to get to where we are right now, right? And so if these are the things that you guys want for your family, you're going to need to be able to dedicate the time that it's going to take to get those things. The next thing is education. I know you all are seniors. When I say education, I mostly mean the traditional education, right, with schooling, but there's also the education that you learn when you have other jobs. You learn stuff everywhere you go, every single day of your life. You're learning things, and those things are education. The relationships that you guys have with each other, the relationships that you have with other adults, the relationships that you have with women, the relationships that you have with your pastors or your teachers, etc. Those are all used for education, not only just your school and homework, not only just the books, not only just the tests. You need to be able to be learning things as you go so that you can apply those things at a later date in your future. You need to have perseverance. So good idea, dreams, guts, or balls. You need to take the time. You need to make sure that you're learning always, and you need to have perseverance. You need to be able to persevere through the hard times. You need to be able to persevere through the stress. You need to be able to persevere through the time that it takes to get to where you are, and you need to be persistent, so you just need to be able to just go 100% all the time, and expect that sometimes you won't be able to, and be okay with that, but perseverance is important. So all of these things that I mentioned before haven't even got me to where how do you get the business started. It hasn't even got me to the plan. Right? I've got a good idea, that's it. I've got a dream, which I want for myself and for my family. I've decided to take the guts to go do and follow this dream and this good idea. I've now dedicated the time, I've persevered through the hard stuff, and now I need to actually make a business plan. So the business plan is obviously one of the most important parts of getting a business started. You need to be able to put stuff together intelligently onto paper, which is where the education comes in. At some point in time when you're opening your own business, you're going to need to raise money, and you'd be surprised how difficult it is to raise money and what the investors really want to see. Hopefully you're lucky and you already have some money, but if you don't, you're going to have to go out and get it. And to be honest with you, the people that love you the most are the ones that are probably not going to give you the money because they want to see you go out and learn it on your own. I mean, my father, could probably afford to open another sandwich restaurant for me, but he wants me to make sure that I'm learning it on my own, so he makes me go out and get it on my own, right? And so you need to write this business plan. You're going to need to figure out how to raise the money, and then you're going to need to execute all of the things that I just mentioned. And the most important thing that you guys are going to have to do with all of these is trust yourself. You need to trust that you have a good idea. You need to trust that you have the dreams that you want are in line with what you really want or with what your wife or girlfriend or etc. wants in their lives. You need to trust that you can take the time, you can work on little sleep. You need to trust in your education and the people that you learn from. You need to trust that your business plan is a good one. And you know what? It's okay if it's not a good one, because the first investor that you talk to is going to tell you that it sucks. And you're going to have to go back in time, back to your education, and you're going to have to persevere more and make your business plan better so the next person that you guys meet with is they're going to give you the money that you need. So then, this leads me all, which is crazy to me when I'm writing all this down, and this leads you actually to the hard part. Because now somebody's handing you the money. Me personally, for my restaurant, I have 2 of them actually, I was given $500,000. It's a heavy weight on my shoulder. Every single morning, I wake up in the morning and I go to work, and I owe somebody $500,000. It's different than when your homie gives you, $5 for a taco, and you're like, I gotta pay Johnny back, for the taco. I'm like, no, I'm on my way to work today, and I owe somebody $500,000. That is a heavy weight on my shoulder, right? So that is when the hard part actually starts. Now you got to do all this stuff. You got to go to the city. It depends on what you want to do, really. I mean, for me, I opened a restaurant, so I had to do construction and do building plans, and I learned about the California building code, and I won't even bore you with that stuff. But you actually had to go get the business started, which is really the difficult part. And then you have to hire employees. It is like, my wife tells me she's got 3 kids at home, right? And I get home from work and she complains that we've got 3 kids and it's difficult. I have 30 of them. I've got 30 kids that I deal with every single day. That is really, really difficult, and which I'm going to talk to you guys about in a second, how to make my life less stressful by being a great employee. But you have to understand that every single day that you work and that I owe somebody else $500,000, that's a grind. Every single day of my life is a grind. I work probably 70 or 80 hours a week. I have to deal with employees, and then after I have to deal with employees, I've got to deal with customers. I make sandwiches. Somebody told me like 2 weeks ago that my coleslaw is dry. I'm like, I don't care. Really? Are you serious? I have the best sandwich restaurant in Southern California, arguably on so many different publications, magazines, newspapers, TV, etc., and you think my coleslaw is dry. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. But you know what? That's what I said in my head, and I'm like, you know what, sir? How can I make your coleslaw better? And when you've already worked 80 hours, you've already dealt with employees, you've already been grinding like crazy, and somebody wants to talk to you about that, you gotta be able to smile, take it in, listen to what they have to say, and make a relationship with that person. And that brings me back to I was actually supposed to talk about relationships with people, which I'll mention in a second, because that dude that had the bad coleslaw that you helped fix for him, which, mind you, you'd probably just go make the coleslaw the same exact way you just made it before, hand it to him, and he's gonna be like, dude, this is good now. And he didn't do a thing to it. That all of a sudden becomes one of your best customers. That's the dude that's out talking to people. That's the dude that's telling people that Sessions is the raddest place. That's the dude that comes every single day. That's the dude that emails you and says how great of a job you're doing. That is making a relationship with somebody. So don't take any relationship you make with anybody ever for granted. That's the lady in the grocery store. That's the person you talk to at work. That's the dorky girl sitting next to you in school. That's the teacher that you meet in college, right? Life is a full circle, and all of those people that you make relationships with are going to come back. After the hard part starts, that's the every day is the grind, the 80 hours a week, the dealing with employees, the dealing with customers, and the knowledge to be able to handle all of those things, which is important. And that leads me to one of my main points is perspective and expectation. It's one of the things that I really spent a lot of time thinking about in 2015, is perspective and expectation. And I think that perspective and expectation applies to starting your own business. What do you expect? And if it was easy, everybody would do it. And where am I at? So we starting a business. We have good ideas, we've got dreams, we've got guts, we've got time, we've got education, we've got perseverance, we've got plan and money, and you've got to be able to execute and trust yourself. you get to this part, you've started the business, and it's extremely hard. You got to be able to take everything into perspective. You have to be able to understand that you're a blessed person by being able to come up with a good idea, being able to follow your dream, being able to have the guts to do it, be able to take the time, do the education, persevere, plan, raise the money, execute, and trust yourself. You got to realize where you are today during those hard times is that you're blessed. You're blessed that you get to work 80 hours a week. I think unemployment rate is like 5%, so 5% of America is a pretty big number. There's 5% of people, which is, I don't know what exactly that number is, but those people wish they could work, at least I hope they do. You're blessed that you've got a place to go to every single day. You're blessed that you've got employees. You're blessed that you've got customers. You're blessed that you have the knowledge and the things in the brain that works to be able to learn new things. So that makes starting the business a bit easier when you're able to take perspective and apply perspective to your life, whether it be anything that you guys have going on. I think that it's important as well as you're about to go into college, you know, and some of you go to great schools, or all of you go to school around here, and I believe that just by the area that we're in, you all go to great schools. Arguably some are better than the other, but but you guys are all blessed to do those things. So school's hard, right? The essay that you have, the finals, so all these things that are very, very difficult for you, most likely, and that you're getting into, you're blessed to be able to do those things. And expectation is important. What did you really expect to do? You know, I assume that when you're about to start a business, that you've talked to some other people, right? I'm not sure who lives in this house, but I assume that that dad or mom works pretty hard, right? And I assume that you guys have had conversations with what it is like to work hard. Nothing that we have is handed to us, and everything that is worth having, it's gonna take hard work to get there. So if you expected things to be easy, if you expected to open a business and make all kinds of money, if you expected to work 20 hours a week and be rich, you know, your expectations are wrong, and you aren't gonna be happy. If you expect to work 80 hours a week, and if you expect for it to be difficult, and whether that be your business or college, then your expectations are going to be right on, and you're going to be stoked. You're like, this is exactly what I expected I expected to happen. I expected it to be hard, and damn it, it is hard. So another point that I wanted to make is to trust the system. In fact, I went to church this morning, and the pastors always have like this speech is called "Trust the System," and I was going to say that at the start, so I'll say it now. This is what one of my main points that I'd like to make this evening is to trust the system. Lots and lots and lots of people have started businesses. Lots and millions of people have started businesses before you guys. Millions of people are going to start businesses after you guys, if that's what you plan to do. And there's generally a system, right? Generally the system is what I've told you. It's a good idea. You need to have dreams and expectations for yourself. You need to take the time to do it. You need to write a business plan. You need to raise money. You do the things that everybody else has done before you because you've educated yourself and you trust the system and you work hard. You're going to be successful, right? And you might not be successful the first time out, and you might not be successful the second time out, and you might not be successful the third time out. I could bore you guys with a bunch of other businesses that I've started that have all lost money, but you know, I prefer to talk about business that is doing well right now. But I've failed a bunch of times, and it's the wake up in the morning, persevere, do it again, and trust the system. Trust that the points that I've made that they work. And talk to anybody that has opened a business or started a business, and they'll all tell you the same thing: persevere, trust the system, and keep going.